The Law of Action: How to Hit Your Target Every Time by Roland, Byrd. Take inspired action. If one advances confidently in the direction of his dreams and endeavors to live the life which he has imagined, he will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. Henry David Thoreau. Inspired action is a powerful force when working on your goals and dreams. Inspiration comes in many forms and should never be ignored. Many times you'll make intuitive leaps that defy reason but still give you all the information you need to move to the next step. When you're working on your goal, there are times you'll have a strong feeling you should do something related to your goal. You may even have a strong feeling you should do something seemingly unrelated to your goal. Trust these feelings. Take action on them. Your intuition, your gut instinct, has access to information you're not consciously aware of. It has everything in your subconscious mind at its fingertips. It also has access to the energy field that binds all humanity. Some call this the universal mind. I also believe your intuition connects you to God and allows you to receive personal revelation. Your intuition never lies or misleads you. It's often described as a knowing, an indisputable knowledge or feeling that you must take an action. It can be subtle, like a whisper in your mind. At times, when you have an intuitive thought, it's like a powerful realization, or perhaps a tingling feeling accompanies it, like you're immersed in a shower of harmless electricity. What's the power of intuition? Here are two examples when I listened to my intuition, and it had life-changing results. Where's Ariana? The thought hit me from nowhere. I had to find my 4-year-old daughter, now. I asked my wife, Vanna, have you seen Ari? No, she was just here, she replied, looking puzzled. We were at a company picnic. Hundreds of people mulled around in conversation. Activities were scattered around the park. There were many places for a young child to get lost, and Ari was an adventurous child to say the least. She had no fear. I've got to find her, I said. I started walking briskly, almost jogging along the edge of the long building, scanning the crowd as I went. It felt like I was being pulled forward, so I didn't slow to look. I followed my knowing that I needed to keep moving forward. I came to the building's corner. Instantly, I knew to turn left and follow the wall. A few moments later, I came to the next corner. Turn left, I felt, so I did. I looked down the length of the building and immediately saw a small child tumble over the 5-foot-high wall of the dunk tank into the water. Ari! I sprinted to the tank and leapt as high as I could. I simultaneously landed with my stomach on the top of the tank wall, grabbed the edge with my left hand, and lunged headfirst into the cold water. I grabbed a handful of Ari's shirt with my right hand and yanked her up out of the water and over the wall to safety. Then I cried. So did Ari. I'd pulled her out of the water within 1 second of her falling in. She was safe. Wet and cold, but safe. There were at least 50 people within a few seconds of the dunk tank. Not one of them had known anything was wrong. Not one of them had seen my daughter climb the ladder of the outside of the tank, or watched as she lost her balance and fell in. I'd been nearly 300 feet away on the far side of the long building when I'd had the feeling that I must find Ari. If I'd have ignored that feeling because I was in a conversation, hesitated even a moment before trying to find her, or second-guessed which way to turn, I wouldn't have seen her fall into the tank. I would have been too late. Understand, there was no ladder on the inside of the tank. It had smooth walls and was full of cold water. Ari would have drowned. But she's alive today, a beautiful, intelligent 19-year-old with the world at her fingertips, because I listened to my intuition. Is there something special about me that allowed me to receive intuitive guidance? No. We all have this ability. You have it. Your neighbor has it. Your best friend has it. Even those you dislike have it. The secret is to train yourself to listen. Here's another time listening to my intuition had amazing results. Get your cargo net. A few years ago, I had a motorcycle accident. I was hit by a minivan on the freeway while traveling about 55 miles an hour. You can read the full account of the incident in my contribution to the best-selling book, The Prosperity Factor with Dr. Joe Vitale. Here's the rest of the story. That morning, when I found out I needed to go to a client that was an hour's ride away, I felt the strong urge to stop by my house and get my motorcycle's cargo net. While working as a network engineer, I had a computer backpack full of my tools and my laptop. It weighed nearly 30 pounds. That's not a lot of weight, but it's enough to change your center of gravity. I always wear full gear on my motorcycle: helmet, boots, armored jacket, armored gloves, etc. And I usually wore my computer pack like a backpack when riding my motorcycle for work. It was easier and faster than taking the time to strap the bag down. But that day, I felt I should use my cargo net instead. So I went home, quickly found the cargo net, and strapped my computer bag to the back of my motorcycle. The trip to the client was uneventful. On the way home, I was merging onto the freeway when I was hit by a minivan. I was launched into the air at about 55 miles an hour. Instinctively, I tucked and rolled down the freeway. Then I slammed into a road marker that stopped me. I ended up with a broken wrist, a bruised lower back, a lot of bumps and bruises, and a shoulder that eventually needed surgery to repair. I was able to tuck and roll because my computer pack was strapped to the back of my bike. If I hadn't listened to my intuition, to the prompting to get my cargo net, my center of gravity would have been off. I couldn't have tucked and rolled effectively. Instead of a compact shape rolling down the freeway dispersing momentum, I'd have tumbled wildly in a tangle of limbs. I shudder to think what would have happened if I'd ragdolled down the freeway at 55 miles an hour. These two events were life-changing. They're extreme examples of the benefits of listening to intuition, because the results were dramatic and far-reaching. Most of the time, you may never know what would have happened if you didn't listen. You just know something is different than it would have been had you listened. Once you're used to receiving intuitive guidance, you'll realize these messages guide you in all areas of your life. They help you navigate difficult situations and can keep you from danger. They also help you achieve better results than you thought possible when it comes to your goals and dreams. The trick is getting to the place where you can identify these feelings. If you're unable to identify intuitive guidance, how can you act on it? When you have a lot of internal noise or discord, it hampers your ability to hear, feel, or see the guidance your intuition is offering. How do you quiet your mind and open yourself to receive the messages your intuition is sending? The best way I've discovered to open myself to receiving messages of guidance is through daily meditation. Since I'm deeply religious, I also pray daily. The combination of the two is very powerful. For me, meditation is like listening to creation, and prayer is talking to God. Whether or not you're religious, meditation stills your mind and opens you to receiving intuitive guidance. I recommend both prayer and meditation. Do what works best for you, of course. If you aren't religious, that's okay. Intuitive guidance is still available to you. I'm offering my process for receiving intuitive guidance. At a minimum, I recommend daily meditation because it helps quiet your mind, heightens your intellect, and opens you to receiving the messages. When I pray, I offer a prayer of gratitude. I thank God for all the blessings in my life, listing many of them individually, and then I ask for guidance on the goal or project I'm working on. When I meditate, I use various methods, but I always think of my main goal before starting. This awareness of my goal before meditating better opens me to intuitive guidance about it. If you've never meditated before, here's a simple process you can use. How to meditate. Find a comfortable place where there are minimal distractions and sit down. You can sit on the floor or in a chair. Avoid lying down because you might fall asleep. It's best to set a timer. An egg timer or a timer app on your phone will do. Start with 5 minutes. Close your eyes and breathe in and out slowly, focusing on your breath. Think the word so on the in-breath and hum on the out-breath. So hum is a mantra, a sound or phrase repeated while meditating. That means I am. When thoughts come into your mind, simply return to the mantra. When your timer rings, take a moment and sit in silence. The optimal time for meditating is 20 minutes. I recommend starting with 5 minutes if you've never meditated, and adding 2 to 3 minutes every week until you're at 20 minutes. Meditating might feel awkward at first. It might feel like a waste of time. Your mind might give you a dozen or more reasons why you could spend the time better doing something else. Meditate anyway. There's a Zen saying, you should sit in meditation for 20 minutes a day. Unless you're too busy, then you should sit for an hour. Think of it this way. If you're off in a jet, you want all the engines working, right? Of course you do. The jet might be able to fly without all the engines, but it's going to be slower, burn more fuel, and be more dangerous because there's less room for error. Living without daily meditation is like flying in a jet that's missing engines. Why would you? Maybe a better example is this. Imagine you're a bird. Living without daily meditation practice is like trying to fly with strained wings. You might get off the ground, but you won't be able to go as far or as high or as fast as you would if both your wings were healthy. It also might be painful and you could get hurt. Daily meditation is one of the cornerstones to a fulfilled life. Aside from increasing your ability to receive intuitive guidance, its benefits include clearer thinking, reduced stress, a more peaceful demeanor, increased health, better sleep, increased creativity, better life perspective, and much, much more. In my experience, daily meditation enhances all the positive traits of my being while reducing my ego's hold on my actions. My life simply flows better when I'm meditating regularly. Yours will too. You understand how to open yourself to receiving intuitive guidance. Now it's time to listen. As stated earlier in this chapter, when you have a feeling, thought, or knowing that you should take an action, take it. If you're serious about making your dreams and goals reality, you'll act on inspiration. The more you act on your intuition, your inspiration, the more you'll receive and understand intuitive guidance. Here's a method that helps. Simply set the intention in the morning to understand when you're receiving inspiration and to act on all the inspiration you receive. To do this, look in the mirror when you're getting ready for your day and say, I'm open to receiving inspiration. I recognize it when it comes and I act on it. And then go do it. Got it? Great! Action points. Inspiration comes in many forms and should never be ignored. Trust your inspiration. Take action on it. The more you heed inspiration, the more you'll receive it. Daily meditation increases your ability to receive intuitive guidance.